usually focus on horror movies on Fright Night Flix, but today I want to do something different and talk about a TV show. One that blends horror, fantasy and teen drama in a way few others have. That's right, I'm revisiting Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Greetings and welcome to Fright Night Flix, where every night is Fright Night. Recently I decided to go back to one of my all-time favourite TV shows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The cult supernatural series that ran from 1997 to 2003. Created by Joss Whedon and starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy follows a teenage girl prophesied as the Slayer, a chosen warrior with the power to fight vampires, demons and all sorts of monsters lurking in the shadows. A lot has changed since Buffy ended over 20 years ago, but its legacy has only grown, inspiring countless fantasy and sci-fi shows that came after it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
With rumours of a reboot in the works and the tragic passing of Michelle Trachtenberg, this rewatch feels more meaningful to me. So to make the experience more rewarding, I thought I'd take you along for the ride with a series of videos revisiting the show from the very beginning. So let's dive into Season 1 and see how Buffy the Vampire Slayer has held up.
I'm just getting started.
What makes Buffy such a strong show is the way it's structured. Not only does it have running storylines, character development arcs and recurring jokes, but each episode also works as a standalone adventure. The show follows the classic Monster of the Week formula, where Buffy and her friends face a new supernatural threat in every episode. Meanwhile, the ongoing drama is more grounded, focusing on the personal struggles of the character. The story arcs are character-driven, making the cast feel relatable and dynamic. We see Buffy's life as a Slayer, a high school student, and a daughter at home, whilst we're watching those around her grow as well. Willow, in particular, serves as a great foil for Buffy, and her development throughout the season makes her feel like a fully realised character. Even though Xander, Cordelia and Giles aren't as fleshed out as Willow or Buffy in Season 1, they each have their own standalone moment that makes them interesting. We're also introduced to Buffy's love interest, Angel, who works well as a contrast to her, a vampire falling in love with a Slayer. It's very Romeo and Juliet, but with fangs.
Wow, that was weird.
Now, while Buffy would go on to later fight some incredible villains, the main antagonist of Season 1 feels a bit generic, just evil for the sake of being evil. However, I see this as more of a learning curve for the creative team. The first season isn't meant to be perfect, and despite this, some of the one-off monsters throughout the episodes make for memorable threats. When it comes to production quality, I won't be too harsh. 90s TV had its limitations, and some of the creature design do look fake and honestly a little corny. But that's all part of the charm. What Buffy gets right is its tone. The mix of humour, exaggerated high school drama and campy horror moments gives it a unique identity. The show fully embraces its 90s aesthetic, making it a nostalgic time capsule for that era TV style. Of course, it's unfortunate that Joss Whedon turned out to be a problematic figure, but his storytelling in Buffy undeniably shaped modern television. That said, the show's success wasn't just because of him. It was the cast and the other creators behind the scenes who truly made it what it is, and they deserve equal praise. The lasting impact of Buffy as a cultural phenomenon goes far beyond Whedon's actions. Speaking of the cast, Buffy has one of the most iconic ensembles in TV history. Sarah Michelle Gellar embodies the role perfectly, making Buffy feel like a real person rather than a typical chosen one hero. Alison Hannigan is also fantastic as Willow. This is my second favourite performance of hers, after Lily in How I Met Your Mother. I also give credit to Casminda Carpenter, who plays Cordelia, David Boreanaz, who plays Angel, and Anthony Head, who plays Giles, for their supporting performances, which are also very strong. The only weak link for me is Nicholas Brendon as Xander. He plays the character with the same effortlessness that Jacob Elordi brings to Nate in Euphoria, a character that doesn't need much requirement to be unlikable. However, I think the issue lies more within its writing of Xander's character rather than Brendon's performance. Xander doesn't receive as much character development as Buffy or Willow, and it sometimes makes him feel less compelling. Plus, with Brendon's legal troubles in recent years, it's hard to separate him from the role. On a positive note, I absolutely loved the opening theme and the score for Season 1. The theme has such a great rock vibe. It's one of those intros you should never skip because it builds so much hype for what's about to come. Also, fun fact, the opening She's the Slayer monologue is voiced by James Marsters, who plays a fantastic character later in the show, and I can't wait to talk about him in future reviews.
But I want it now!
Before I wrap up this review on Season 1 of Buffy, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button, subscribe to Fright on Flix, and follow us on social media so you don't miss a single scare. Were you a fan of Buffy back in the day? Or have you recently discovered it whilst looking for a good show to binge? You let me know in the comments down below, and also let me know what other horror series you'd like me to cover. Alright, enough from me, back to Buffy. Overall, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1 is a fantastic introduction to this world. It builds a compelling universe, introduces deep and interesting characters, and lets them grow throughout relatable story arcs. While some might struggle with the show's dated visuals and the controversy surrounding certain figures, for me, it remains an entertaining and groundbreaking series that set the bar high for genre-based TV in the 90s. I give the golden medal of the best episode to The Pack, as it offers a refreshing shift in the show's dynamic. But on the other hand, the weakest episode for me is Angel. It just feels a bit more lackluster than it initially leads to be. As for the first series as a whole, I give it a rating of a 9 out of 10 and a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this change of pace with me reviewing a TV series instead of a movie. If you want more horror content, check out all my past videos and stay tuned for what's next. Until then, keep the chills alive, and as always, stay spooky.